Could Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson be the next head coach in the nation's capital? Multiple reports around the league are indicating that the Commanders and new GM Adam Peters have already predetermined that Ben Johnson is the favorite to land the job heading into the 2024 season. But before I get into that, tell you whether or not I think this would be a good hire for the Washington Commanders or not, do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now because we are having extensive coverage of this head coaching search here for the Washington Commanders. Of course, they just hired their new GM, Adam Peters, yesterday on Saturday. And now that they're going to be looking for a head coach, we're going to have extensive coverage for you guys, videos just about every single day, letting you know who they're interviewing, who's coming back for a second interview. And then, of course, when they hire their new head coach, we're going to have breaking news coverage for you right here on the channel. So do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now for extensive Commanders head coaching search coverage. So let's start with multiple reports here that are indicating that the Washington Commanders are, in fact, hunting Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. This one from Diana Rossini yesterday saying, while Washington is going to attack this search for a head coach with openness and flexibility, the Commanders are targeting Detroit's Ben Johnson as their top choice, per sources. Carolina is also hoping to land Johnson. Good luck with that, Tepper. Then we're going to go to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk here, who also says that Johnson is the top choice in Washington. Multiple sources firmly believe that Adam Peters had been pre-selected to be the next GM. Those same sources believe the Lions offensive coordinator has been pre-selected to coach the Commanders in 2024. Now, my personal opinion about potentially hiring Ben Johnson to be the next head coach here in Washington, I think this would be an A-plus hire. I think he's the number one offensive mind on the market right now in terms of offensive coordinators available to poach as a potential head coach of the future. I think he's on the level of guys like Sean Payton and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. I think he's a genius-level offensive mind in this league, already probably a top 10, maybe even top 5 offensive play caller in football, and he's not even a head coach yet. So if they can land this guy, he was my number one head coaching target, that means the Commanders would have hired my number one GM there, my GM candidate there in Adam Peters, and then they would get my number one head coaching candidate in Ben Johnson. I would be one happy camper if they ended up hiring Ben Johnson. But let me know down there in the comments section, what do you think about the offensive coordinator from Detroit? What grade would you give that hiring if the Commanders are actually able to land this guy in the coming days and weeks? Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by grading this potential hiring. So now let's take a look at the Lions offense since Ben Johnson took over as the offensive coordinator back in 2022. He's only been there as the coordinator and play caller for 2 seasons, but you can see the numbers speak for themselves, man. Top 5 in every single category except for third down percentage. And actually, that offense got even better heading into 2023. Still top 5 in just about every category. Giveaways was a little bit worse this year, but I put that less on coaching. I put that more on execution and kind of luck. As opposed to Ben Johnson scheming up turnovers, right, for his offense. That just didn't happen, right? So everything that was within Ben Johnson's control this season was in the top 10, and it was improving upon or staying the same in every single major offensive category as last year. So what that tells me is that Johnson got even better here in 2023, and he's doing it with a guy in Jared Goff that many people consider to be kind of a mid-level starter in this league. So if he's able to elevate that Detroit Lions offense, both in the run game and in the passing game with what they have available, I definitely think this guy's one of the better offensive minds and play callers in the National Football League, and I would love to see him be the head coach of the Washington Commanders. Now, what can you expect from him in terms of scheme if the Commanders do end up hiring him? So he runs a modern pro-style offense. We're seeing a lot more spread concepts in the National Football League today, but Ben Johnson is kind of revolutionizing kind of the old school pro-style offense. Lots of under center, lots of traditional play action, lots of 3-step drops from under center for the quick game. So lots of like old school West Coast concepts there with like Bill Walsh, under center, play action, short passing, setting up the long passes down the field. Ben Johnson has been able to kind of revolutionize kind of the old school West Coast system to kind of fit what he likes to do. He's also very multiple in his run game. He likes to do some power stuff. He likes to mix in zone with power, all these different things. It's very difficult to kind of pin down the Detroit Lions run game because they are under center, which allows you to be more multiple in what you're able to run. That's why teams like Miami and San Francisco and all these teams that run most of their run stuff from under center are able to be better because they can run more stuff and kind of keep defenses on their toes. And we're also seeing a lot more shotgun in the league, which I think is really hurting the rushing attacks of offenses around the league. Ben Johnson is more under center, and I think that helps out his run game quite a bit. So for me, I think he's one of the top 10 offensive play callers in football. I think his offense is so fundamentally and structurally sound, and I would absolutely be stoked if he was the head coach of this team moving forward. I think he's one of those up-and-coming minds. Now, coming up here, I'm going to tell you whether I think Ben Johnson, if he was hired as the head coach, would he rather have Caleb Williams or would he rather have Drake Maye as his quarterback of the future? I'm going to answer that question here in just a second. But before I get into that, check out our friends at Fanatics if you're looking to get some more Commanders gear in your closet. The offseason is an excellent opportunity for you to restock on your Washington Commanders gear because the prices tend to go down. You get some really good deals, and I think now would be a great time to get yourself this awesome t-shirt combo from our friends at Fanatics just in time for their off-season deals here. You've got that long-sleeve white t-shirt, perfect for those summer months that are coming up here right around the corner. And then also you got the short-sleeve burgundy. And I love the designs on here, guys. Pretty much getting two shirts for the price of one from our friends at Fanatics. So you can check it out now, chatsports.com/CommandersX2 to get your hands on this awesome Commanders t-shirt combo in your closet today. So for me, guys, I think that if Ben Johnson was the choice here for the Washington Commanders, and he ended up becoming the next head coach here, I think he would maybe prefer to hold on to his draft capital and stick at number 2, let whoever's going to be picking at number 1 pick Caleb Williams, and I think that Ben Johnson would be perfectly okay with going with UNC's Drake Maye as his quarterback of the future. The reason why I say this is because it's a lot more process-oriented, and his offenses, I should say. And I just feel like Caleb Williams is more of an improviser, whereas Drake Maye, I think, can fit into a structure better than Williams can. And I think Ben Johnson will appreciate that. So we can take a look at Drake Maye's college stats here. And, you can see the dip in production from Drake Maye in 2023 compared to 2022. But you also have to keep in mind that this past season, Drake Maye had to overcome a ton of adversity. The offensive line was terrible. The wide receivers weren't quite as good. He lost Josh Downs, his number 1 receiver, the year prior. So I definitely think that Drake Maye had to go under some adversity this year, hence the dip in production. But I definitely think that he has what it takes to be a franchise quarterback in this league. I'm not going to say that he's better than Caleb Williams because I just don't think he is. I don't think he's on the same level as a Caleb Williams. I think Caleb is more of a generational type talent, whereas I think Drake Maye, although very talented in his own right, I think he's definitely more of a number 2 option compared to Caleb Williams. I actually don't think it's that close. However, Drake Maye definitely has a bunch of great stuff on his tape, man. He's got the arm talent that you look for. Strong arm, can throw from multiple angles. He's got the size you look for. You're not going to have to worry about him seeing over offensive linemen to throw over the middle of the field. He also has really good pocket presence and ability to escape the pocket and be a playmaker, which is something that I really love to see on college quarterbacks' tape in terms of projecting them to the NFL game. And he's also a plus runner. He's actually really good with the ball in his hands in open space. But however, the cons are he's still working with some of those inconsistencies with decision-making and mental processing. But the thing that I will say about Drake Maye is that I've watched his film going from 2022 to 2023. The mental processing and the decision-making was actually better, in my opinion, in his second year starting as opposed to that first year starting, despite the fact that his production was a little bit lower. I thought there was a lot more drops on that film with North Carolina's offense this year. But overall, I do think Drake Maye has all the tools that you look for to be a franchise quarterback. And I think Ben Johnson is going to look at a kid like this that kind of reminds me a little bit of Jared Goff in terms of a physical profile. Strong arm, tall, can stand in the pocket. I think Drake Maye kind of fits Ben Johnson's offense a little bit more than Caleb Williams. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Out of these three quarterbacks, and I really do think, guys, it's going to be one of these three guys that's going to be quarterbacking the Washington Commanders in 2024. Which one would you rather have quarterbacking this team heading into next season? Type CW for Caleb Williams, type DM for Drake Maye, or type SH if you're still a supporter of Sam Howell. That'll be it for today's video, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support and sticking with me to the end of today's show. If you enjoyed what you heard from today's show and you want to watch more of our future episodes coming up here in the days and weeks to come, make sure you click that subscribe button right now for more Commanders news and rumors coverage all throughout the 2024 offseason.